I've recorded vocals just about every studio in the world and every microphone, from vintage and expensive and garbage and everything in between. You need to buy this plugin. This is the Chris Martin microphone. I'm gonna be standing up like this. Auto-tune live is how you record with it on. If you're gonna record in the morning, don't eat that the night before. You need a pop filter. That's a pop filter. I've recorded Bono's vocals on this, and I figured out how to EQ this microphone to sound like a $10,000 microphone. So now you wanna get into recording vocals. And look, I've recorded vocals at this point just about every studio in the world and every microphone and every microphone chain, from vintage and expensive and rare and crazy to garbage and everything in between. And there's no one size fits all thing based on your voice, but I can give you a handful of options based on your budget and what you want to accomplish. So on this particular song, I was recording my vocals the whole time I was writing it, with the intention of bringing in a demo singer to recut it. And I got to the end of this and listened back and was like, I actually think that my voice works on this. And that doesn't always happen. A lot of times I have my co-writers singing. If I was going to be pitching this to a female artist, I would 100% bring in a female singer to sing this, but I'm not. So as such, I think that, me leaving myself on is going to make the most sense. You're going to see me truly recording someone in real time in lesson 3 when I'm recording Cautious on the song that we will do from the ground up. So you're going to see me editing, comping, arranging vocals and how I do all that. But for the purposes of this song, I was recording on the fly as I went, and I kind of just like how it sounds. I'm not mad at it. So I think that I'm going to just keep my voice as it is, but I'm a big advocate of always recording yourself first and only using someone else if your voice doesn't sell the song. If you have the ability to sing, I encourage you to sing your own demos as much as possible. If you can't, then find someone that sounds the most like the artist you're pitching it to. If you're pitching a song for a country artist, male country artist, get a male country singer. If you're pitching it to a pop artist, if you're trying to pitch something to whether it's the Jonas Brothers or Selena Gomez, find a demo singer, a friend that you have. They don't have to be professional. Find someone that you know can get close to that artist's voice tonally. Their tone, their range, all those things. Find someone that is as similar as you can be to that. And if you are having an issue doing that, get on YouTube. Get on YouTube. You have the internet at your disposal. I promise you there's someone out there that sounds like the artist you're trying to write songs for. They are on the internet. They're probably on Instagram. They're probably on TikTok. You're going to find them. Just do your research. Crowdsource. Way of the future. If you are recording the vocal yourself, a couple things you need to keep in mind. The input level, whatever interface you're using to record your vocal, the input level, you need to make sure that when you're singing into your microphone and it's in record, that you're not hitting you're not spiking over here, okay? That right there measures audio volume in decibels. And if you are coming in what's called too hot, that will turn red. Number 2, in terms of performance, I would make sure that you're standing. Don't be sitting like I am. Be standing straight up. And the microphone, these are more like engineering tips, but I will tell you regardless. If you live in a major city near cars or a subway or all those things, you need to have all the windows and all the doors shut, first of all. The room does need to be as quiet as humanly possible. If you have a very nice microphone like this. This is a cardioid microphone with a tube inside of it. If you're using this microphone is not going to pick up all the ambient sound that's coming from off the street, the trash guy picking up the trash, cats and dogs, people laughing, cars. This is a lot less likely. So the nicer the microphone, the quieter the room has to be. The less nice, the less it matters, right? This guy will pretty much only pick up what's directly in front of it, okay? But you want to be standing. So even if I'm using this and I'm recording a final vocal, I'm going to be standing up like this. I'm going to be holding it like this. And I get a lot closer on this microphone. This one can hear everything in the room right now at all times. So even the sound of the air conditioner coming off of the back of my laptop that's cooling my laptop, this 100% can pick that up. So you really do have to be mindful. And one of the things, if you have too much ambient sound in the place where you're recording, all you got to do is add what's called a gate, okay? That right there is a gate. You want to put that after or before. I'm suggesting you use CLA. Gates are the easiest thing in the world to use. Watch, I've opened the gate. And look, what this does is it creates a gate that means that only sound that is over a certain amount of decibels is allowed through. It's actually a gate, right? So if I'm singing, and I'll show you an example of what this does right now. See all the things I'm moving around here? These are the dead gaps between phrases. As a rule of thumb, you remove those. But the simple cheat on that, if you, now listen to this, you're gonna be able to hear all the stuff in the background.
Had some nights anyone regret, wasted days trying to forget, chasing love that I could not get.
So listen to all these little tiny clicks and sounds. Listen to this. That's playing in the background between all my phrases. And it just adds clutter and junk to a mix. But if I throw this gate on, watch what happens.
Had some nights anyone regret, wasted days trying to forget, chasing love that I could not get, and drinking away the lonely, spin a bag just to waste.
I can get rid of all these noises, watch.
Chasing love that I could not get, and drinking away the...
So for me to get rid of that little clip there, if I'm using a gate, I'd probably have to go, you don't ever want to go above 20, ever. So watch. You go that, now it's not picking up anything. So the higher this knob goes, it means the louder the sound in there has to be for it to come through the gate. So even at, what is this, 30, it's still picking up that click. So you got to get rid of that. But for the rest of this stuff, the gate covers it.
One regret, wasted days trying to forget, chasing love that I could not get.
Right? So that's why you use a gate. Do not drink carbonated beverages within an hour of recording. You want to avoid hot foods and high acid, like red sauce, like anything that gives you heartburn or could like give you any kind of heartburn or whatever. Don't eat those within 12 hours of recording. Don't eat it. If you're going to record in the morning, don't eat that the night before if you're going to get heartburn. Those are the things that can destroy your voice or just destroy your session. I've had days where I couldn't cut vocals because of the dinner I had the night before. If you're going to have somebody come record vocals and you're paying them to do it, it's okay to ask them, can you come already warmed up? Can you come with your voice already warmed up? Because otherwise you're wasting a lot of time sitting there going through take after take after take, and they're not even ready to really sing it yet. The other trick that I do with, just from trial and error with recording songs, is very few vocalists nail a song the same day that they've heard it. Like, if they're hearing the song at 1 p.m. in the afternoon and you're trying to record them at 1:30, it's just that they haven't memorized it yet. They don't know all the nuances, and the nuances of a song are what make everything. The nuances are critical, so you have to be sure that they know the song. It's that simple. Otherwise, you're going to waste a lot of time. You're going to probably want them to come back the next day or later that night, and it just saves everybody time if they already know the song. And so what I do is I send them the song the day before, and I just ask them, hey, can you please listen to this a handful of times before you get here? That has always saved me time and money and stress. So I would highly recommend getting the song to the demo singer the day before they sing it, if you're comfortable sending the song out. It is critical to get a good vocal. A bad vocal, no matter how good the singer or the song, can make a song very, very, very difficult to place, to sell or pitch or whatever. So if you're going to record a vocalist, you need to have a handful of things that you just have to have. One is you need a decent microphone. So there's a whole range of what defines decent microphones. I will tell you that when I got into writing and producing in college, the first legitimate, like, real check that I wrote or money that I spent on any piece of gear was for a good microphone. I had been recording in a friend's garage and recording nonstop and hating how my voice sounded. I was recording on a Rode NT1 or NT2 back in the day, very cheap, like Australian microphone, and it sounded cheap. I don't know what else to say. There are some cheap alternatives though that are okay. Here's a few options. If you have bags of money or have a friend or you're renting a studio, I would recommend a vintage U67. This is at the high end of things, right? This is hard to get. They don't make them anymore. Now, what's great is they do make, Neumann is the name of the company, N-U-M-A-N-N, Austrian company, I think. They make a U87, and for years, that was my go-to microphone. U87 is probably gonna cost, and again, this is one of the larger ticket items that you would have, but I'm gonna go down the price range. This is way expensive, like 10, 12 grand, sometimes more, depending off their vintage. U87 might be anywhere used on eBay from $800 to $1,100. Great microphone. It's kind of a workhorse microphone and not that breakable. A little bit further down the chain, this is what I travel with on the road, on my personal tour microphone. This is about the nicest microphone that you'd want to travel with. This is an AKG 414 EB, silver face, okay? This is a killer vocal mic though. I don't want to travel with a tube microphone because they'll break. If you're buying a microphone that has a tube in it, you have to be very careful with it. This one, however, solid state, AKG, C414, made in Austria. Again, the Austrians make great microphones, clearly. This is a silver face AKG. This is kind of rare. This is probably, again, around the price of a U87, maybe. I hard to remember, but it's somewhere between $1,000 and $1,400. This is the Chris Martin microphone. This is what he uses to record, or has historically used this microphone to record pretty much every Coldplay song. You need a pop filter. That's a pop filter, Stedman. This is a thing that keeps, because if you're singing without it, all your P's, your p, and your T's, like t, that's the air that your mouth makes when you make a p or a t. That air hits the capsule, and when it gets recorded, it's terrible sounding. It's like, sounds like a huge mistake. So it's like pencil, and it just distorts the mic, and it's like, and so that's why they call these a pop filter. So the air that pops out of your mouth does not hit the microphone. So if you don't have one of these, get a shoe bag. Occasionally you could use a sock. I've used socks before. This is a Shure SM7. So if you're budget conscious, but you still want a pretty good vocal sound, this is the go-to. I've used this a ton. It comes with the pop filter on there, so you're not worried about your P's and your S's, your T's. And it plugs into kind of anything. This is a great microphone. And I've gotten I've recorded Bono's vocals on this. I've recorded Adele's vocals on this. I've recorded my vocals on this. And I figured out how to EQ this microphone to sound like a $10,000 microphone. So there's a way to actually match the tonality of this with a nice mic. And I'll tell you one other cheat for those of you who really want your stuff to sound good but don't have the money. If you ever end up in a studio with really good microphone that you love, like a U67 or a ELAM Telefunken 251, those are very expensive $20,000 microphones. What you do is you take an SM7, you plug it in, and you record your voice or whoever you're recording side by side with the extremely expensive, rare, rented microphone that's from the studio. One of the big things that a nice microphone has is it's about tone, body, frequency. And if you just tweak and you get some compressors, get some EQ, get some de-essers on that channel on the cheap mic, and just keep moving stuff around until both vocals sound identical. And then save that setting on your EQ. Call it the expensive setting. And then from then on, every time you use this cheapo, what is this, $200, $300? Every time you use this mic, you've mapped it to the super expensive mic, and you can thank me later. But that's a little pro tip cheat on microphones that I do all the time. In terms of recording vocals, I don't suggest you record them sitting down like I'm doing. This is not ideal for a good vocal. I've just been doing this for forever, so I'm used to it, and it's quicker. And I'm not, but if I am doing a final vocal for a OneRepublic song or Kygo or whoever I'm working with at the time, I don't do it sitting down. I stand up so I get more air in my diaphragm. I usually am standing about, what is that, about 6 to 8 inches from the mic is about where I sit. I'm in an acoustically treated studio. This is one of my main studio rooms here. I've got 5 studios in this building, and they're all treated like this. So I don't have much echo, but most rooms, bedrooms, closets, bathrooms, they have a really bad echo. That's gonna give you a bad vocal. So you want to block the sound, right? That's your objective. Well, you have multiple ways you can do it. If you've got, again, maybe $300 to spare, $250, $300, you can Google microphone sound absorber or soundproofer, and it'll pull up, it's a conical, what is that word? It wraps around like this and it blocks sound, ambient sound from hitting the microphone, and it makes your voice way more controlled. If you're super cheap, you can take a couple pillows, 2 or 3 pillows, and kind of tape them together and like set them on your mic stand where they block it. It does the same thing. I'm not making this up, but like the first session I had in this studio was Paul McCartney, who came through. This is probably 2.5 years ago. And I was in a room that hadn't been acoustically treated in this building. It was echoey, it was bad reflective noise. Like when you're in a big room and you just hear the echo everywhere. So I took a bunch of pillows and I taped them over the thing, and you've got Sir Paul McCartney recording vocals on the jankiest microphone setup of all time in a room that without the air conditioner turned on, sweating, like surrounded by pillows. It was, the point being, the vocal came out great and he didn't care. It doesn't matter how you get there. All that matters is that you get there. Nobody wins awards for how fancy their microphone setup was. Like all that really matters at the end of the day is the song. However you get there, get there. There's no rules. So anyway, that's my technique for recording vocals. My cheat, if I open up a vocal track right here, I have 19,000 plugins, right? I told you I don't use most of them. Here's this is all vocal stuff. Look at this, right? That comes with Pro Tools, all the C1 stuff. They're great, they're fine. Channel strip comes with it. That's like EQ and compression, compressors, de-essers, distorters, filters, reverbs for days. I have all these. They're all great, right? They've all taken my money. And I've gone through fads and phases of using different ones. Here's my go-to across the board, though. Pretty much every producer I'm with, this is their default vocal setting. So you need to buy this plugin. This is going to save you so much time for making your vocals sound like radio ready and pop and whatever. It's the Chris Lord Alger. It's this plugin, CLA Vocals, right? It comes like this. My default setting is face-to-face dry. Something about that setting makes a voice just feel present, like it's coming off the radio or off Spotify. Now, if you've got someone with a very bright voice, okay, you can adjust these things, top or roof. If depending on where I'm singing in my register, I'll adjust those. If my voice is too bright or the singer's voice is too bright, you pull it down. That's it. If you're not getting enough bottom end, you pull it up. Or if there's too much, you pull it down. If you want it to sound cool and like stereo effect and like The Weeknd or something, like you add this stereo spreader on there and just go to stereo or wide and adjust that, and it will make your voice just sound like cool. I don't know how else to put it. It's like a really cool, different effect on your voice. It has delay, which I use all the time. I use the quarter note delay. You click on this little guy up here, little folder thing, and you can add delay color, right? So now let's say when this word happens.
Had some nights anyone regret.
See that regret right there? Anyone regret? Watch what I can do with that. Because I've now automated this, I added it to the thing, right? I clicked delay, and I said add, and now it's in this column. This is getting on some basic vocal edits, but you can add, anything in the left column, you can add to the right column, which means you can automate it. You click on waveform, delay. Now, so what I can do is I have it set to delay. So now watch, there's my automation. This bar right here, if it goes up, it means more. If it goes down, it means less. So now watch, if I want that regret, if I want that word to just like have a crazy delay effect, like regret, right? I just turn that dial up and watch what happens.
Had some nights anyone regret. Wasted days trying to forget.
Right? And that I might make that part of my vocal production. So like,
had some nights anyone regret. Wasted days trying to forget.
Right? You notice how there's the difference in delay. Anyway, so bottom line is CLA allows you to do a lot of different, it's just easy. It's just easy. I recommend CLA. It works in Ableton, it works in Logic, it works in Pro Tools. I think it works in Cubase. I'm not sure, but I think it does. So that's my default setting. You're looking at it. I don't record with auto-tune on, but so many artists do now that I just leave it default set there. Auto-tune live is how you record with it on. You can see my setting, 10, humanize. If you want it to sound like T-Pain, you go all the way there to 0, and then it's super hard auto-tuned. Add a little humanization, monkey around with these things, move them around to figure out what sounds good for you. There's no secret here. You can screenshot my setting of this song, but I'll probably change it on the next song. So I don't know how helpful that'll be. Artists have their producers that they just use, period. Carte blanche, they just use them on everything. So if I'm gonna pitch this to Kane Brown, he already has his team. He and I talked about it. He's got his 1 or 2 guys that produced everything that he does. And so if I'm trying to get a song placed as a writer and I don't care about the production, then I would send it like this. I might even send it more stripped than this is. If I am trying to get the song placed and I also am trying to get the gig as a co-producer or a producer, I would spend probably another, hour, 2 hours on this track, something like that, to get it to feel like the last 2 or 3 records that artist has put out and get it in that same sandbox. So it just feels instantly like, we could record this tomorrow and it can go on radio. And I do that a lot. But that's, if I was to pitch this to Kane, I know he has his team. I already know who would very likely be producing it. So you kind of go, is it worth me spending a bunch more time doing a bunch of stuff that's just going to get redone by somebody else? And probably not. So this is, I think, produced well enough for me to send it to his team. I've got a couple other ad-lib moments that I want to edit in here just to punch up. But right now, this is feeling pretty much like a finished record. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. I think this, in theory, should save you a lot of time on your next production, your next song. Lord knows I wish that I could have taken a class like this when I was 18, 19, 29. This would have saved me so much time. So I hope you've had a good time watching today's lesson. Now it's time for you to get your microphone set up, situated, start cutting vocals, editing them. Don't be afraid to fail. Remember that it doesn't really matter. You've got all the time in the world to make as many songs as you need to until you're ready for the world to hear them. Nothing else matters other than actually starting, sitting down with the blank canvas and just starting. That's the most important step. So have fun, good luck, hit it.